Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Seduce Me Too. We're here getting ready to go in the war.
Will you be alright?
I know how to shaking out the exhaustion from my mind. I was ready to end this. I looked up at the castle gates and felt a rush of determination run through me. Let's go finish this. With that, Erik and I rushed forward into the castle. The final battle had begun. Erik and I rushed into the castle into the main hall, where we could hear Diana and the Demon Lord clashing swords.
I will tear you to shreds!
I hope he understands. She will tear him to shreds. As we finally entered the space where the battle was happening, we stopped at the doorway, spotting Diana slamming her saber over and over onto the Demon Lord's sword, which was held over his head like a shield. From the look of it, the Demon Lord was severely wounded and was trying to hold out against Diana's barrage of blows. Diana wasn't looking too well herself, but she seemed to have the upper hand. What was scary was that Diana's face was completely smeared with blood, intensifying the frightening look of rage and anger in her eyes. Every swing was reckless, powerfully thrown to eventually hack into the Demon Lord. To her displeasure, the Demon Lord was able to block it each time. Erik and I slowly stepped in, watching as Diana continued to beat steel to steel, in an angry rage, trying to find an opening and becoming more enraged with each block the Demon Lord pulled. Slowly, his body began to glow, pulsing with red energy.
Enough!
The blast of red lightning. Diana was sent flying back, slamming against the pillar and falling to the ground with a thud. Demon Lord seemed to ignore my shouts as he stood and began to walk over towards Diana's falling body. Diana tried to press up onto her hand, stumbling and buckling a bit, before she glared up at the Demon Lord while he approached.
I should have waited until you came back, so I could have killed all of you in one fell swoop.
Diana's glare intensified as large black and purple flames engulfed her body from the rage that ignited within her.
You bastard!
Pouncing off the ground, Diana formed a new saber in her hand and flew at the Demon Lord, swinging it to slice his throat open. However, the Demon Lord parried, locking still once more with her and leaning in with a hard glare of his own.
How does it feel to be the only one left alive in your family? Not even your unborn sister survived!
Holy crap. My hot cocoa was really hot. Diana snarled as she slammed her feet into the Demon Lord's chest. Oh, my tongue. Forcing him back and causing her to catch herself on her wings, remaining in the air. The voice that erupted from Diana's mouth sent shivers down my spine.
You don't even deserve the mercy of death!
Erik instinctively placed an arm in front of me, staying put and watching intently. Both of us were sure that Diana possibly had this, but we didn't want to get in the way of her rage if she was full out berserk. The Demon Lord let out a laugh before pointing his hand at Diana, summoning a large bolt of red lightning to shoot out and slam into Diana. Luckily, Diana had placed her sword between them and blocked the lightning from hitting her skin. Still, she was slammed back into the pillar she hit before and held there against a stream of heavy red lightning.
You're losing your power, succubus! Just like your weak parent!
With a tearful scream, Diana began to push back, shaking and gritting her teeth. The wounds on her body began to bleed profusely, but she eventually set away with purple flame-like energy into her sword and letting it climb with the lightning bolt into the Demon Lord's hand. The Demon Lord quickly pulled his hand away, revealing a sizzling and burning aura around his palm and fingers. Diana, weakened, fell to her knees, exhausted but not out yet. Her eyes still bore into her enemy, not ready to give up. Oh, look at Erik, all majestic over here and stuff. I felt myself glare hard at the Demon Lord. He was a monster that needed to be stopped. Erik, feeling my anger, stepped forward and began to summon his ethereal tendrils behind his back and around his form.
Guess it's time to step in.
He's such a Prince Charming. I watched as Erik rushed forward and planted his feet beside Diana, reeling his hands back and punching them forward. As he did, a crown of tendrils shot up from the ground around his body and flew at the Demon Lord like a spray of arrows. The Demon Lord glared and sliced each attack out of the way, panting from exhaustion, but not ready to surrender. As he sliced through the last one, he sneered at his second son, gritting his teeth.
You!
Erik smirked, licking his lips slightly.
Did you miss me, father?
As he finished his sentence, Erik formed another round of spikes behind him and shot them towards his father. Glaring as he blocked and knocked away each one again with his sword, the Demon Lord let out a dark chuckle.
Like I would miss little insect traitors like you.
The Demon Lord let out a howl before slamming his giant sword into the floor, causing the ground to quake and a large crack to cut through the marble and charge at Erik's position. Erik jumped into the air and landed beside the broken earth, sending out another volley of spikes. Luckily, one rammed into the Demon Lord's shoulder, causing him to shout in pain.
Losing your touch, aren't you?
The Demon Lord snarled before ripping the spike out of his body, letting the wound bleed openly before rushing at his son with his sword held high. However, Diana swooped in and slammed her saber into the path of his sword, forming a deathlock.
I'm not finished with you!
Diana and the Demon Lord pushed against each other, eventually jumping away from each other in aggravation. As Diana landed beside Erik, he stepped in and pointed his hands at the ground, where his tendrils burrowed through the marble and jutted out like a spiked trap. The Demon Lord was quick to react, rushing back before the spikes impaled him from below and glared. This match had become an unfair fight for him, but in our case, it was needed to finish him off at last.
Just as cocky as your mother! Wonder she was my least favorite.
Erik suddenly grew a dark face, the tendrils in his body glowing in a red, misty aura. Something snapped in Erik's emotions and the Demon Lord triggered.
Don't worry. I'll send you to a place where you'll never have to see her again.
Erik and the Demon Lord then simultaneously rushed forward at each other, with the Demon Lord raising his sword high and Erik moving his tendrils to wrap around his blade. Erik and the Demon Lord went into a deadlock, with the Demon Lord trying to cut through the hole his tendrils had on the sword. Erik, however, formed more free tendrils and shot them up at the Demon Lord from below, causing his father to release his sword and jump back, now unarmed. Erik smirked as his tendrils snapped the sword in half with insane ease, and tossed the two halves to the side to be forgotten. I watched in anxiousness, hoping this battle would end soon. It was 2 against 1. The Demon Lord wasn't going to win. I, however, kept my distance to make sure he wouldn't attack me instead. I had no energy to fight. Taking in what Erik had done to his weapon, the Demon Lord snarled.
I can beat you even without my sword! Remember who raised you, boy!
Erik let out a large bark of a laugh as his tendrils sharpened into spikes once again.
I'm afraid you're mistaken. My mother raised me. You were too busy doting on your favorite son to care about me or the others.
Very true. That's why I was kind of like chuckling a bit like, yeah, right. The Demon Lord growled, his fist becoming engulfed in red bolts of lightning.
I created you! You owe your very existence to me!
I owe you nothing!
The Demon Lord only laughed before suddenly gasping from pain. I had barely seen what had happened, but as I stared at the Demon Lord, I gasped at the sight. Protruding from the Demon Lord's chest were a spray of red spikes dripping with his blood. I could barely keep staring as he turned and looked to us in shock. I looked over to Erik to see him pointing at the wall behind the Demon Lord, where a collection of spikes jutted through a black void into the Demon Lord's back, effectively skewering him.
You never paid attention. You were blinded by pride, and that will be your downfall.
No! He's mine!
Oh, come on, Diana. Erik quickly pulled back his tendrils from his father's body, causing the Demon Lord to fall forward from the pain and momentum. Diana, however, swooped at the Demon Lord and rammed her saber into his chest, a garbled gasp escaping his throat. Without hesitating, Diana pulled her sword out and stabbed him once again, driving her blade all the way through him to the hilt and snarling into his face.
Those were for my parents.
I knew it. She was going to continue doing this. A third stab directly through the heart.
For my sister!
Diana finally, pulled her sword out and rammed the pommel into the side of his head, pushing him down to the ground in a lifeless thud. He was dead by now, eyes glazed over in death's code, breathless embrace. However, Diana didn't care. Diana quickly straddled his waist, bringing up her saber and using her magic to shorten a dagger in her hands above her head.
And for every life you took from this world!
Mad, Diana began to violently slam and pepper stabs into the Demon Lord's chest. Erik rushed over and wrapped his arms around me, covering me from the sight, but he was unable to block the sound of Diana's sob-filled screams. But each time, can you stop? That's annoying. Stop! Damn! I could still hear it. My God, I became a bit frightened at Diana and how she was releasing her anger. However, it was entirely justified. He had taken everything from her and Dad. Her and Dad, hello. Her and had caused worldwide chaos. It was only natural to demand revenge even after death. This was her last stand with him, and she had dominated his very corpse with her blade, like carrying the lost spirit no longer within it. It went on for far too long, to the point where Erik had to let me go and walk forward, pulling Diana off of him. She began to flail, dropping her knife and letting it fade as it hit the ground into nothing.
No! Let go!
Diana!
Erik pulled Diana to her feet and gripped her shoulder, shaking her and glaring into her eyes.
Enough!
Diana's eyes were bloodshot, desperate to keep striking the dead body, but filled with emotion and broken inhibition. I hate this word. As she finally took in Erik's words, she shut her eyes and dropped to her knees, releasing a wave of sobs and cries. I walked over to Erik's side, pitying Diana. She must have seen so much death. This was her solace, and chance to let go, to know her family was gone because of him, wrenched pain into my heart, but I knew that it was finally over. They were avenged, and so were the many people who died under his hand. The Demon Lord was dead at last. I felt a weight lift off of my heart and spirit, proving to me that the curse was broken, and the chain that bound me to the abyssal plane was gone. I could go home. I hugged Erik's arm to me, finally letting out the sigh I was holding in relief of the situation. Erik smiled and kissed my head.
It's over now.
Yeah, we can go home now. A wave of joy rushed through my body, happy to know that I was free to go home. I began to become overjoyed with the idea of returning, walking across the aisle and marrying Erik before returning to my normal life. Life in the demon world was an adventure, but it was time to finish this and leave. I smiled to Erik before kneeling down and placing a hand on Diana's shoulder as she cried, causing her to look up at me. I could only smile at her, try to release some of the heartache and burden she was releasing. It's over, Diana. We won. A small breath of silence ran through the air before Diana wiped the tears from her eyes and nodded, still shaky from the experience.
It's over.
I nodded and gently helped Diana stand before taking Erik's hand and walking towards the entrance of the hall. Diana, however, turned back to look at the Demon Lord's body, stopping us in our tracks.
Was this all worth it? I lost my family because of him. There was so much bloodshed.
Diana tightened a fist at her side, gritting her teeth and shutting her eyes.
I didn't get to say goodbye to my family. My sister.
I felt another wave of empathy run through my body at her words. She wasn't really alone, though. She had settled. He was truly everything she had left in the world, and he was more than willing to walk through it with her. It was all right. It was all right. Okay. So I reached out to take her shoulder. Diana looked over, seeing the comfort in my eyes despite her broken gaze. Before I could speak, however, a familiar purple light glowed from the Demon Lord's body, catching our eyes and causing us all to look over in shock. What was happening? What? Hello? Before our eyes, a faint purple orb slowly appeared and bobbed up and down in the air, looking to us. The orb that had haunted me was expelled from me, floated over the dead body of the Demon Lord as if it had been there the entire time. Phew! The orb moved in a circle around the Demon Lord's body, letting the faint trace trail behind it temporarily draw a circle in the air. As it returned to its spot, it released a pulse of light. The light slowly drifted towards Diana, impacting her chest and making her glow a bit before the light faded away. Confused, Diana stared at the spirit, trying to figure out what it had done to her. Was it an attack? Slowly, Diana became wide-eyed at it in familiarity. With a shaky hand, Diana reached out towards the orb, lost emotion in her eyes as she kept her sights on the spirit.
Arabelle!
I stared at Diana in shock. It had a name? How did Diana know the spirit at all? I was thinking. It was like she was grasping at straws. How could Diana have known who it was? The orb floated forward, stopping in front of the Demon Lord's corpse as Diana took a step towards it.
Hi, Uzair.
I was wrong. Diana hit the nail on the head with its name and seemed to be acquainted with it. Diana took a couple more steps forward before dropping to her knees in the middle of the hall. I watched as tears began to stream down her face and her body began to quake. The orb slowly floated over to Diana and hovered just within arm's reach of her. Diana's hand shakily lifted up past her chest and over her mouth.
Arabelle!
It's okay. It's okay, big sister.
Knew it. Big sister? Diana was her... This main character is like, what the hell? Stupid. Diana suddenly let out a tearful gasp before reaching forward and taking the orb into her arms, somehow pulling the orb into a tight embrace. The orb seemed to shimmer in the hug it was in, but didn't seem to react in any other way. Thanks, timer. But this is where we're gonna stop. I kind of like really recorded this late. We had a internet, we switched our internet provider, so that took a lot of time. And then when we had to go, like, Tyler and I got our hair cut, so that took some time waiting for our hairstylist. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.